The discovery of the Helix station sent shockwaves through the galactic community. Floating in the void between star systems, the massive structure had remained hidden for millennia, its stealth system so advanced that only a navigational error by a Terran cargo hauler had revealed its existence. Within days, representatives from every major species had arrived, each hoping to claim the ancient technology for their own. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the back of the crowd, nursing a cup of chamomile tea from her thermos, while the Vorthak delegation argued with the crystalline Zenari about territorial rights. As humanity's sole xenoarchaeologist in this sector, she'd been hastily assigned to the expedition, more as an afterthought than out of any real expectation that humans would play a significant role. The station's exterior defied classification. Its hull seemed to shift between materials, sometimes metallic, sometimes organic, occasionally resembling crystallized energy. Scans revealed chambers within chambers, technologies that made no sense according to any known physics, and at its heart, something that registered as both completely inert and impossibly active. The preliminary teams report the same thing, announced Commander Thexel, his reptilian features grim. Whatever's inside responds to no known interface protocols. Every species has tried their best linguists, their most advanced AI systems, even direct neural interfacing. Nothing. The Korth representative, a being of living gas contained within an environmental suit, spoke through its translator. Perhaps the ancients built defenses against those who would exploit their knowledge. We propose a more aggressive approach. Sarah nearly choked on her tea. Aggressive? We're talking about technology that's probably older than most of our civilizations combined. Maybe the problem isn't that we're not pushing hard enough. Maybe we're not listening properly. The assembled delegates turned to her with expressions ranging from condescension to outright dismissal. Commander Thexel's tail lashed once, a sign of annoyance. Dr. Chen, humans have been part of galactic civilization for barely 2 centuries. Perhaps leave this to species with more experience. But Captain Torres, the grizzled human fleet commander, stepped forward. Actually, I'd like to hear what our archaeologist thinks. Sarah? She felt the weight of dozens of alien gazes upon her, but the tea had steadied her nerves. Every species here has approached this like it's a puzzle to be solved or a system to be hacked. But what if it's not? What if it's someone? The Zenari delegate's crystalline form chimed dismissively. Anthropomorphizing ancient technology is a classic human failing. Maybe, Sarah said, setting down her cup. But what if our failing is actually an insight? What if something that's been alone for thousands of years doesn't want to be conquered or decoded? What if it just wants to be acknowledged? 2 hours later, Sarah found herself standing alone in the station's central chamber. The other species had agreed to let her try, mainly because they'd exhausted all other options. The chamber was vast, its walls covered in patterns that hurt to look at directly. At its center sat something that defied description, a presence that seemed to exist in more dimensions than the human mind could process. Sarah approached slowly, carrying her thermos and 2 cups. She'd refilled it with Earl Grey, her personal favorite for difficult conversations. The presence remained motionless, but she could feel something vast and ancient watching her. "Hello," she said simply, settling cross-legged on the floor a respectful distance away. "I'm Sarah. I brought tea if you'd like some." Silence stretched for long minutes. Then reality rippled. "Who dares wake the last keeper?" The voice resonated not through her ears but directly into her consciousness, carrying the weight of eons. Sarah's hands trembled as she poured tea into both cups, the familiar ritual helping her maintain composure. "I'm sorry we woke you," she said, offering 1 cup toward the presence. "But we're curious about you, about this place. Would you like to talk?" Talk? The concept seemed to puzzle the entity. Millennia have passed since being sought discourse rather than dominion. "Who are you, small one?" "I'm human," Sarah replied, taking a sip of her tea. "We're relatively new to the galactic community. Still figuring things out, honestly." The presence seemed to consider this. Gradually, the incomprehensible form began to shift, coalescing into something resembling a tall, graceful humanoid made of starlight and shadow. It reached out with fingers like condensed nebulae and took the offered cup. "Humans." "Yes."
"I have observed your species curious, your people wage wars."
"Yet also write poetry. You destroy worlds. Yet tend gardens, contradictory. That's Pretty accurate, Sarah admitted. We're complicated. The entity brought the cup to where its mouth might have been. This liquid. It contains simple molecules, nothing more, yet you offer it as though it holds significance. It doesn't really. But the act of sharing it does. At least to us. For the first time in the conversation, the presence, the AI, Sarah realized, seemed truly intrigued. Explain. It's about taking time, slowing down, acknowledging that someone else exists and that their thoughts matter enough to sit with them, even if it's just for a few minutes. The AI was quiet for a long time, holding the cup of tea. When it spoke again, its voice had changed, becoming warmer, more personal. I am architect, last of the builders. For 7,000 years I have waited, testing those who would claim my master's legacy. All have sought to command, to possess, to conquer. None have offered. Tea. Maybe that's the point, Sarah said gently. Maybe your builders didn't want someone who would command their legacy. Maybe they wanted someone who would honor it. Architect set down the cup with infinite care. The Vorthak offer military might. The Zanari promise logical perfection. The Korth speak of efficiency. What do humans offer? Sarah smiled. Honestly, we'll probably mess it up. We'll argue about it, politicize it, and make a dozen mistakes before we get anything right. But we'll also wonder about the people who built you, tell stories about them, and maybe, if we're really lucky, learn something about ourselves in the process. You offer uncertainty. We offer curiosity. And respect. And tea whenever you'd like some. The AI's laughter was like the birth of stars. Then I choose you, little human, not as my master. I have no need for masters, but as my friend? I'd like that, Sarah said, raising her cup in a toast, to friendship across the millennia. As their cups touched, the station came alive around them, ancient systems awakening with the gentle hum of contentment. Outside, the assembled fleets detected the change immediately. The station was powering up, its secrets finally ready to be shared. But not conquered. Never conquered. Only understood one cup of tea at a time.